Welcome to my studio. It's my room. It's where I live. Today is a weekend Wednesday of mine. I'm Tanis of Seattle, and it is Wednesday, 15 October 2025. And a weekend Wednesday is a Wednesday I treat like a weekend day. And this is going to be reflecting on my 2011-2012 JanSport Katadhin 50-liter backpack from Sports Authority. Yes. And I reflect on it. I got from Sports Authority for my study abroad at Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University in Port Elizabeth, South Africa. 6-month student visa, January 2012 to June 2012. And I have used for a variety of purposes since, including as my backpack on my first thru-hike in March 2013 on Maui, Hawaii, and my first trip to Europe in July 2019 to Scotland for a heritage travel trip. I ruminate about if the backpack might make it to Ireland for my Ireland heritage travel trip. Yes, so I bought this, it was 2011-2012 from Sports Authority. Got this, it's over a decade old, and it's showing a little bit of wear. Like here, it's torn on the top. That tear started last decade, so it's actually good in the sense that it hasn't progressed much. Could I sew it back together? I took home in economics. I was a teaching assistant for teacher's helper in middle school for home economics, so I'm a little bit rusty. It has a hole over here. I had initially, so I got it for South Africa, and it was like, I also took a suitcase. However, this is the one where if we went on we went on a long spring break, Easter break trip, and to Cape Town. I was living in Port Elizabeth, and they were opposite coasts. And so this is like an example. I took this bag because it was multiple days. Packed my towel, packed supplies and stuff. So it's been a good backpacking bag, and just travel bag for like longer trips. Then in Hawaii, I used it for my first thru-hike in Maui, in March 2013, and I also used it at that same period of time, so 2012 to 2015 inclusive, so a little bit under 3 years total. I lived in Hawaii, and I used this a bunch for field work in geology. So this is if we were going to the Big Island for like a class field trip or that kind of thing. It was the bag I used for that. It was and after that, I've used it, I took it to Scotland with me, and I even took it like a tent, because I thought about camping, and then I didn't, or I took I think something like that. And this was perfect for that trip. Was 17 days total, including travel, and it was a perfect size for that trip. And it's really handy to just throw it, to put it on my back and walk. I don't have to worry about rolling anything. I don't have a huge wardrobe, and I'm okay with repeating clothing. So for me, this works just fine. It was something at the end of that, I was like, because the tear had started to develop, I was like, I don't know if it'll make it through another one. But I don't know. I still have it, and I'm using it for hold some of my clothing and stuff, and the Halsey CD, the Garmin, GPS stuff. So I have since bought a bigger bag. However, it's like an official hiking bag, so I don't know. I would have to, if I would take that one to Ireland. I think that was kind of, I thought of it for through hiking, but yeah. Oh, this is another great thing about this is it opens on the bottom. I can unzip this so I can access stuff from the bottom and the top. It's really great for that. And then there's a pocket on top. It's where for international travel with medical restrictions, I had to travel with malaria medicine when I was studying abroad. So this is the bag that I stored the malaria medicine in. It's a good one for in terms of if we were at a hostel and I wanted it to be easily accessible, I could put it in the top. But if we were traveling and I wanted to make it so somebody couldn't just snatch my medication, my immunization type medication, don't take that for, put that in the body of the bag and shove it down so that it's not easily accessible from the top or the bottom. It was like, you just put it at the bottom of the bag. That doesn't work. The bottom of the bag opens. So I actually had to think about where to put my immunization type medication for malaria in this bag to make it so it couldn't be easily taken. And then I suppose what's a really positive legacy? So I have ADHD, and for a number of years I took Adderall or its generic equivalent. I think I've only taken like formal, like the bougie, the real deal stuff. I took the, you know, I went to the local pharmacy and they're like, do you want generic? Which on the label wasn't actually Adderall. It's, I got the generic version. So in that sense, this is actually a bag where it came because I got it before I started taking Adderall, and I have it after. I only took Adderall for about 6 years total, before stopping entirely. I call it a clean bag, in the sense of like, I was like, my aim with this one is to not actually use Adderall when I use the bag. Which I'm not, like, if I'm out there hiking, right, I shouldn't be using Adderall anyway, because Adderall gets one's heart rate up. From my psychiatrists told me, and stuff. So it was like, it was a bag that was, if I'm using it, I shouldn't be taking it anyway. So it actually helped me get cleaned up and just get off the medication entirely. And a legacy there is some of the stuff I use it for, like reading, I've gotten really on top of. So it's really been a transformative bag, and I really liked Sports Authority. I think it's actually gone out of business, Sports Authority, but it was that Big Five Sporting Goods, or Big Five, and REI were kind of my sports gear and outdoorsy stuff places. So there we go. That's reflecting on my 2011-2012 JanSport Katadhin 50-liter backpack from Sports Authority.